Hello everyone and welcome back to Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, and in this part we're going to be tackling the first level of Act 2, which is we're back in the Amazing Universe and we're dealing with a very classic Spider-Man villain, Mr. Flint Marko, aka the Sandman. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is like, recording this, not the game, but just the audio for this, has been a struggle. Because this is like attempt number 7. Every other time I get interrupted by something, and it's just like, oh man, this sucks. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Sand's making me sick. So, Sandman, like I said, he's a classic Spider-Man villain. I think he made his appearance, like, he was early on in the Ditko, in the lead Ditko books. I think it was like issue 5 or something. I remember he didn't make it to double digits. And he's had a long, varied history, you know, starting off as a bad guy, and then I think it was around like the 90s or so, or maybe the 80s, he reformed somewhat, and now I think he's just back to being his regular old villain self. And yeah, I haven't really kept up with modern Spider-Man comics. I just refuse to. Every time I see something on, you know, Twitter or whatever, it's just like, man, I don't want to read that. I don't want to pay money. I don't even, yeah. So, Sandman, as far as my introduction to the character, I think, I want to say it's Spider-Man 3, but I also want to say it was something before Spider-Man 3. Because he wasn't in the 90s cartoon. That was Hydro Man. And as far as some other appearances, I'm trying to think of some, but I can't recall off the top of my head exactly. I'm probably missing something from before Spider-Man 3. I know he was in something, maybe a video game or whatever, but so Spider-Man 3 was a big one, a big appearance, and he was one of the better parts of that movie. Like, you got Thomas Hayden Church playing him, which is perfect casting in my, like, he really, when I think of Sandman, I think of Thomas Hayden Church's performance. He's probably my favorite version of Sandman. Which makes me really glad that they brought him back in No Way Home. Despite being just a CGI sand person. Not a tangible human. So that part's kind of sad, but the fact that, you know, they brought him back at all was a surprise, because he had, well, not the greatest, you know, there were some things about Spider-Man 3 which kind of, you know, were unnecessary, like the fact that he killed Uncle Ben, which is just a pointless retcon. If anything, I think it was mainly just due to them needing, you know, the villains to have some relation to Peter Parker, which, you know, for Green Goblin I can understand. Doc Ock, you know, it works fine enough, but I think Sandman could have been the exception where, you know, they could have just had him as a guy. He already had a backstory, you know, sad enough to contend, but But then you just throw into the mix the whole, like, oh, I killed your uncle by accident. You know, it's just not really needed. Not every villain needs to relate to both hero and their secret identity. So. At least they didn't go, like, at least they didn't come up with some bullshit being like, oh, I'm really your dad, or like something like that. It just... So I guess it's the best possible option they could have gone with, but still, it's a very unnecessary, like, connection to make. It reminds me of the 90s when they tried Chapter 1. Like, they tried to redo the early years of Spider-Man with Chapter 1. It was just like, oh, because Sandman and, you know, the Osborns have similar haircuts, why not just make them related or something? Like, something ridiculous like that is just unnecessary. So, let's see. So we have Spider-Man 3. We have some of the games that came after this, like Friend or Foe, and obviously this game. Spectacular, which is a great adaptation of Sandman. I really do like that version of the character. John DiMaggio does a great job with him. He's both villainous while also, you know, at the same time you can relate to him in a way. And even in, like, season 2 when they tried to the sparks of him being a good guy were an idea that they had. It was really cool. I remember when the Ultimate cartoon came out, I watched the first season on TV, like as it was airing, and when they got to the Sandman episode, that was a weird one. Because they go to this remote island, they find a kid there, but then it turns out, like, oh, this is a super dangerous, like, villain that Peter just let, like, come back to New York with them. And then at some point he just becomes a good guy anyway, so. There's a clip I remember somebody shared on Twitter that involved, it was like Peter's fighting Hydra Man or something, and then Sandman just shows up out of nowhere to help, and yeah, that was odd. Yeah. I didn't watch the 2017 cartoon. But it was like both Sandman and, like, his daughter were in that movie for whatever reason, so I don't know. It's weird. Very odd indeed. I don't know what the deal was. So, I hope at some point, like, if, you know, they do the whole, you know, Tom Holland thing, if they continue with his series, for however many movies he's willing to be a part of, if they do, like, if they recast certain villains, like have that universe's Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, that kind of thing. I'm curious to see who they would recast Sandman with. A lot of people were saying John Cena, and, you know, they made fan art of it, and which I don't know about somebody like that jacked, but I don't know. I guess I'd be in the minority. I mean, I could see him, but also not see him at the same time. Oh, that was weird. And what else? I'm trying to think of some other, like, annotations of him. And you know what? I'm kind of drawing a blank, to be honest. I just killed that sand creature. Oh yeah, news since we did the Craven level some time ago. A trailer for the Craven movie came out. And oh man, that was interesting. Actually, you know what? I might save it for next part. I actually want to talk about the level for a second because I think in general this level is fine. The biggest obstacle for me is these sand creature things. Because unlike other enemies, they have to get wet in order to actually damage them. And this game, sometimes it doesn't work in my favor. Like with, you saw earlier when I tried to, after the boss there, I tried to web swing over. I don't know why, but just some, like, control issues messing me up. Yeah, and then you got these golems here, which usually I don't like taking out the bigger enemies, but yeah, these things are a thing too, and they're kind of annoying to deal with. You know, I love Neil Patrick Harris. He's great as Spidey. I'm so glad that they brought him back. Hopefully they bring him back again for more, like, for another role as Spider-Man. It would be so awesome if in Beyond the Spider-Verse they had the MTV Spider-Man make an appearance. Maybe a voice line. That'd be sweet. I don't know what the deal with that would be. Like, would that be a rights issue kind of thing? Or who owns MTV Spider-Man? Is it Disney? I don't think MTV does. I think they were more of a distributor than anything. But yeah, that cameo would be awesome. And, you know, having Neil Patrick Harris come back for that would be pretty sweet. Because I think, in all honesty, he's one of my favorite voices of Spider. Like, he's underrated while also being, like, just a great fit for the character. And I think this game really showed that. Like, he had just an amazing voice performance. So yeah, he nailed it. Spot on. But yeah, this is going to be the end of the part. So next time we're going to finish up the Sandman level. And yeah, talk about some other things I had on my mind. So anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that. I'll see you next time. Thank you all so much for watching. And of course, don't forget to take care of yourselves. See ya.